Guys, I'm Lydia and welcome back to the channel. So today is a recipe that I've been seeing online, and I actually got this exact recipe that I'm going to be making today from one of my old culinary cookbooks that I got in college, okay? It's called sweet potato biscuits, all right? I do have most of my ingredients already laid out on the counter, so we can jump straight into this video and get it going because it is going to take just a little bit to make and a little bit of effort. So if you have a jar of canned sweet potatoes, you can get it from the grocery store. I have a jar that I've canned myself last season, so that's what I'm going to be using. We're going to strain these off, get going, and I have all my dry here. So let's just jump into this recipe so I'm not talking so much because I know I tend to do that. So I have a colander here and a little metal bowl. The first thing I'm going to do is drain my sweet potatoes. Just because I know I want them to sit and get as much moisture off as I can. So I opened up my jar. I wish I had my little strainer, but I can't find it. I always smell my cans before I open them. I don't know why, but I do. And I'm just going to toss that right in. Shake it out. Ugh. And look at all of that liquid it's letting out. So we're just going to let these sit on the side for right now. In this bowl here, I have all of our dry ingredients. So we have our 2 cups of flour. I have a tablespoon of baking powder. I also added some nutmeg and a little bit of sugar and just whisked that right up, just so it can be nice and incorporated. And then, of course, if I'm making anything for my house, I'm going to be using or trying to make it dairy-free for me and my kids. Just because, again, I have a son with a dairy-free allergy. I pray this one right here does not come out with dairy-free, with dairy allergies, but I'm going to keep praying. So I'm only going to use 3/4 cup. So I'm going to cut that right down. And this is all of the Crisco I'm using, and this is just butter-flavored Crisco. Usually you can just drop this in. Well, you're supposed to use cold butter, guys. I'm not even going to contradict myself. So when you make biscuits, you do want to use cold butter, but because I'm using Crisco, it does not have to be cold. And I am going to add a little bit of brown sugar as well. So that's 1. Just to get it in there. Because this does have sugar, I did add a little bit of salt just to balance it out as well, guys. And I whisked that all in there. I'm going to drop this whole thing of Crisco in. Oh, I'm making a mess. The one thing I don't have, if you heard that beep, that is our oven. I did preheat my oven at 425. The one thing I don't have, guys, is a pastry cutter. So I always use my hands. Because I've been growing my nails out, I don't want to get none of this stuck in my nails. So I'm putting gloves on just to make it easier for me when it comes to clean up a little bit later when it comes to my hands. But I'm going to work this Crisco right in this batter until I get some nice good chunks and piece size. Usually when you do biscuits, you're going to add like buttermilk or a liquid to hold it together. But because our sweet potatoes are so soft and it does have a lot of liquid in it, we're just going to use that as our liquid to hold this whole thing together. Okay? So, this is a good consistency on where I want it to be. Very flaky. And it smells so good already. Oh, Lord, it does. I always make a little hole. I don't know why. You would think it'd be like I'm making pasta or something. But I do always make like a little hole well, and that's what I ended up doing. And I'm gonna add my sweet potatoes right in there. So our sweet potatoes, we threw that right in our little hole well. I am gonna put some more gloves on. And I'm just gonna mix this right up. Until I get me a nice little dough. Ooh. I do have a little bit of flour here, and I'm just gonna sprinkle that down just so it doesn't stick too much on my surface. Grab my rolling pin. And I'm also going to grab me a rubber spatula. So I'm going to scoop all of this. Look at how good that looks. I'm going to scoop all of this off. Put this bowl to the side. And I'm going to put a little more flour on top as well. And start shaping my dough. So I do want to make sure your hands are very well floured. This is a wet dough. Now, one thing I don't have, and you've probably seen this from my last videos when it comes to me making biscuits and rolls, I don't have a cookie cutter. Never had. So I'm going to be using my bench knife. So my biscuits won't be round, but they'll be squared. Okay. I am going to try to get my dough to be even. So when I do cut it, throw some flour there. I can get even spaces out of them, or even amount, and they'll be about the same size and cook evenly as well. I know I said even like 100 times, but that's the goal. So that's all flattened the way it should be. I do have my pan here. I just put a silicone mat down, and I'm going to cut these in 3. And then going across, I'm going to do 4 cuts. Alrighty. So I'm going to scrape this off, shake some flour, and then we're going to transfer it right to our silicone mat. So I have all of my biscuits now on the pan. I'm just scraping up my little mess to clean me up a little bit. And these are the way our biscuits look before baking. What I am going to do is just grab a tad bit of liquid, so maybe some almond milk. Just to keep it with the dairy free. You can also do an egg wash if you want, but I am going to use almond milk. I'm going to brush the tops, and then we're going to put it straight into our oven at 425 degrees. Between 12 and 16 minutes, it should be done and perfectly baked up beautifully. So those are all brushed and we're going straight in the oven. Okay guys, so our sweet potato biscuits are done. They look amazing. I did put them on a plate right here because they are slightly cooled, but they're not completely cold, just because I love to eat them while they're warm, and I recommend eating them while they're warm as well. So I'm going to take the smallest one I see because I'm going to save these for dinner tonight. Oh, look at how it breaks. It smells so good. I'm excited. I just have a little bit of butter here. We are a butter family. Literally, like, it sounds weird, but we can just eat butter, like straight out the tub. And these are great. I'll tell you in a second. These are so good. Anyway, this is definitely a recipe you need to try for the holidays. Sweet potato biscuits, awesome. Like, I'm definitely making these for Thanksgiving because I feel like these are going to be a great hit. Okay, definitely try this recipe. I'm going to link the recipe down below in the description, so if you do want to get the exact measurements, that's where they'll be. If you did like this video, make sure you hit that like button, and please subscribe to the channel for even more holiday recipes that are coming soon.